All right, all right. Looks like we might be streaming. And I hope everybody's doing good today. I gotta start my timer because this cannot be long. But since we've been doing the social work supervisor training, uh, I have we're getting people over to where they can do supervision. They're getting certified for supervision. And so what we want to do is as we're moving people, they're going through the training and becoming supervisors. We've got with the training, they learn how they can collect clients and things like that. So now we want to support individuals with being able to have topics and things to learn from, to share with their supervisees. And so that's the point of this today. And I'm going to have to go really fast. And so this is some of what I do in supervision. I just want to give you a little bit of insight into that. And we're going to call this week in supervision. Hopefully I'll be able to shoot this every week. But if you listen to this, you're going to find and learn some compelling information about treatment of trauma. I just want to let you know about that. All right. But I only got about 4 or 5 minutes left, so I got to hurry up. So I'm going to try to see if I can share my screen here so I can know what I'm talking about. But typically when I'm working with my supervisees, I'm trying to get them on the level to where they understand how to work and practice. Oh shoot, that's not the one I was wanting to do. I knew that was going to happen. I just want to restart. All right, so this is going to go longer than what I wanted it to, but you can't. That's why I didn't want to push the go button, because I knew as soon as I pushed go, it's going to be something. But basically, I'm wanting to get my supervisees to the point to where they're understanding how to do therapy in a deeper way than what most people are able to do. Okay. They're understanding trauma. They're understanding the tools that's needed to be successful and being able to retain clients as they see them. And so there's certain little tools that you need to know. And so I'm going to give you an example here as I share my screen of some of the information that we've been discussing this week. And I have several supervision groups. If you're looking for supervision, holler. I got a couple slots. But for instance, okay, so this is kind of how I started it. All right. I started supervision by asking them the question, who has the highest rate of PTSD? We have a stabbing or shooting incident, B, seeing someone being killed or seriously injured, C, rape, and D, someone who is physical assault or severe beating. But before I answered that question, I wanted to transition into a little bit of a case, and I got to hurry up. All right. So here we have an individual. It says you have a client who's a 40-year-old male who reports having issues with pornography. Your client reported being fired from 2 jobs after watching porn. He has run up a $15,000 bill on his credit card due to purchases of porn. OnlyFans, I think I got that right, or fans only. I'm sorry, my folks was helping me with that. And Patreon. We don't need to go into what that is, but the client's wife has caught him texting women on the phone several times, but he denies an affair. What might be a primary cause of the client's behaviors that we will need to eventually rule out? So basically, we got a guy, he's having some problems with porn. It looks like he might almost be stepping outside of his marriage, but we're not really sure. His wife has caught him texting, so he's doing some things inappropriately. Okay, so we're not going to get very far. The thing is, what stands out to you with this client, okay, that we need to be looking into? What stands out to you with this client that we need to be looking into? Well, there are several things. As a matter of fact, as I was discussing this with my group, somebody brought up a couple of names. One of them was Josh Duggar. And so in looking into that, when we call people's name out like that, we're not trying to place something negative on them. We're looking at them as this could be my client. How would I help them out? There's a problem that they're having. I'm not looking at them as a criminal, whatever this and that. Not from the therapist standpoint, I'm not. And so I'm looking at it like that. So someone like Josh, you know, and I said, maybe this client is kind of like Josh before the situations with that he got involved with, I believe, with his sisters or something like that that was inappropriate. Let's just pretend maybe this guy was kind of similar to Josh. He can't stop what he's doing. Okay. What is going through your mind about something that I need to rule out with this client before I get into deep into therapy? It's just some things that need to trigger for us. And I want to go directly into that. And so the answer for me is sexual abuse. This person may have possibly been sexually abused. That's something for me as a clinician, and everybody's got their way of doing it. I've been very successful with doing it that way, that I want to rule out. And so I'm gonna jump back up here. Who has the highest rate of PTSD? And I had everybody answer this question. I don't know if you got the answer to this question yet, but the answer is an astounding C, rape. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I have the stats here. When you look at rape has occurred. When rape has occurred, always rule out PTSD, and 49% of individuals who have been raped, particularly, I don't know if this is geared towards women, but 49% of them experience signs and symptoms of PTSD within the first couple of weeks. So we need to be looking at PTSD as a comorbid. And here's some other interesting stats. We need to be looking at, and I can't go through all this. You come to my supervision, you can learn it. But we need to be looking at this as a comorbid when we're looking at people who have experienced trauma. And there's a lot of busying of the mind when you have experienced that. So what is the aftermath of rape? I'm having to skip, y'all. I'm having to skip. No, let's go back to this. The reason why I'm saying you got to look at sexual abuse is because of this. Let me see if I got this clip ready. Boom, right there. All right, I don't know how many of you all have heard of a man named Patrick Carnes. My boy Aaron Schaefer, man, I need you to present on this, man. But Aaron is a specialist, and he with sexual addiction, and he has that cert. That's, I don't know if you heard of a certification. It's CSAT, CSAT, or something like that. But basically, you're working with addictions. A lot of times, you work with sexual trauma. They teach you how to work with these individuals, even in a more intense way. But the stat here, I can't do this in 5 minutes. Is that right here? Research has shown a very high correlation exists between childhood abuse and sexual addiction in adulthood. The graph shows the percentage of adult sex addicts who have reported experiencing specific types of childhood abuse. Look at the numbers here, y'all. 83% of individuals, and these are individuals who, again, this guy that was our case study has been demonstrating that maybe he's been having possible sexual abuse type tendencies. He can't stop. It's showing its impact in his social, occupational, interpersonal concerns. And so there's more of a problem than what we just see with just cheating men. Okay, so boom, 83%. So that's almost everybody, according to Patrick Carnes, that has been that has sexual addiction, has been sexually abused. But not just that, almost all of them have been emotionally abused and physically abused. Okay, let's move on real quick. So there's a lot of things, and we talked about this in a session, that we got to be looking for when we're talking about the aftermath of rape and things of that nature. Okay, sexual abuse, rape. Okay, a little bit different, but I'm summarizing this. What happens with people with rape? And so we showed a video about what happens with individuals who have experienced, some of them experience signs and symptoms of promiscuity. Okay, I'm going really fast on this, so I'm gonna miss a lot. So, but we played the video with the young lady who had been like that, described herself. The question is, why? Have you ever thought about why someone who has been sexually abused? We know that many times they can be promiscuous, but if I'm trying to treat that, I need to know what's going on in their minds that's making them want to do that. And so here's a list of things. Trust is destroyed. And we showed some additional videos with people who had experiences like that. We profiled them, we cased them, we try to talk about what we would do to treat them. Shame, self-worth, not worthy of being loved, doesn't feel like she has talent, nothing to contribute in relationship. These things are what they're feeling. And when we identify that, that's how we're going to get to developing our treatment plan. Okay, we don't have a lot of time, no time to talk about that, but that's what we on. That's what we on. If you don't learn anything from this, I want you to keep in mind that anytime you see someone who had, male or female, who has a sex addiction problem, and this guy has been quoted by the NIH and things like that. He's a well-known guy. He's been on Oprah. Okay, I don't know if his stats 100%, but the only reason I came across this is because I've been seeing it in therapy and I couldn't find anything to support it. I've been seeing this in therapy like crazy, y'all. Okay. And so I'm like, there's something to this. And I was so happy to find this guy Carnes that's been on this since in the 80s. Got to go. So we're going to try to do this every week. If you're looking for supervision, give us a call. If you're looking for the supervisor training we have for you, we get into some of this kind of stuff that you need to know. And so just keep that in mind. And hopefully this has been helpful. All right. You take care.